Welcome to the 15th season of the NitWits, a weekly roundtable discussion on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Our panel includes Neil Riddell of the Altoona Mirror, Mark Brennan of FightOnState.com, Casey Kantz of WTAJ Sports, and a special guest analyst each week. The NitWits are brought to you by Irwin Financial Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. Coldwell Banker, no one will work harder to sell your home. By Doctors Howells and Reed, orthodontics for children and adults. By the bookstore in the Park Hills Plaza, featuring the area's most complete selection of books, DVDs, magazines, and collectibles. By Fiore True Value on 6th Avenue, Altoona. Just ask rental. By Pacifico's Bakery, genuine Italian bread and rolls for your tailgating needs. By the Altoona Professional Hearing Aid Center, your hearing aid healthcare professional. By Monarch Cleaners, for all your cleaning needs. Your rehab choice, Health South Altoona. Ask for us by name. By J&P Auto, home of the $1,000 push, pull, or tow. By Courtesy Motors of Altoona, where courtesy means a great deal. By the Allegro, where fine cuisine is a way of life. By McMullen Furniture, the friendly store with quality furniture at a reasonable price. By Scotch Valley Country Club, the area's premier golf destination. By EasyToUse.com, your Yellow Pages connection in print and online. By FightOnState.com, as close as you get to Penn State football without putting on a helmet. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State game day every Friday. You can also see the NitWits on AltoonaMirror.com.
Spider-Man.
Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's in a good mood. A good day. Welcome to another edition of the NitWits. We got the panel here. We're breaking down another Penn State win. We've got Keith Conlon back in the house as well. Welcome back, Goon.
What's going on, fellas? How are you?
It's we're doing well. I think we can all say we're doing well after what happened on Saturday. Penn State defeats Northwestern, hands Northwestern's first loss of the season. Let's start at the end, I guess, so to speak. The fourth quarter, Penn State rallies back from 22 points. They were down 11 points, about 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. What did you see from that Penn State offense down the stretch?
I think it's the entire team, Casey. I mean, the fact that they're down by 11 points, you never got the sense that the coaching staff panicked, and I think that was key. Because, kind of by extension, the players never panicked. And, as well as Matt McGloin played, wow. I mean, that was just something else. And for the defense to step up and do what it did, I mean, that was a team effort. The only thing that was really struggling for them in that game was the special teams. But overall, offense, defense, the coaching, wow, just a nice effort. And I think we continue to see this team improve every single week, which is really important with the new staff.
We'll talk about those Penn State struggles on special teams just a bit, but Matt McGloin, I mean, and the Penn State offense ran 99 plays on Saturday afternoon. It was unbelievable performance late.
Yeah, they set a record for tied a record for offensive plays, and it goes back to the sixth game of Joe Paterno's career in 1966 at West Virginia. So a piece of irony that in the sixth game of the O'Brien first year and the sixth game of the Paterno era, you hit 99 plays. But to me, the maturation and development of Matt McGloin and what they're doing with him, he hit 18 of his last 20, 13 of 15 on the last two drives. Now, he got away with a couple things yesterday, but he's so poised back there and turned those scrambles into he holds on to it to the very last minute. I'm just super impressed with him.
Wow. Goon?
I'm looking at the dive into the end zone there. My God.
Could maybe get a little bit more graceful.
I think Goon could have gotten more.
I don't think he knew what he was trying to do there. But do you think Matt McGloin would like I think he's a Heisman Trophy winner if he plays Northwestern every game. It's just 3 straight years now. He has lit up Northwestern.
I asked him about that. Of course, he gives credit back to the teammates. But what is it again with Matt McGloin in these second half things he does against Northwestern? Like you said, 3 years in a row right now. He threw 51 passes on Saturday afternoon, and 35 of those passes were complete. And those were some great stats, you said, down the stretch for him. And he, it's funny to hear O'Brien compliment McGloin and McGloin compliment O'Brien because they both really seem to be feeding off of each other right now.
It's an Irish thing, man.
Well, you know, the 2 straight weeks, and O'Brien made a joke about 3 weeks ago saying that in learning to be a head coach, you have to realize how your defense is playing. When he was the offensive coordinator in New England, he's just trying to hang 50 every week. Well, the last couple weeks, they really could have put 50 points out there. They've left some points out on the table, but I think it's an indication of just how impressive their whole offensive and the way they're going for it on 4th down.
Well, the other thing is, if you look at it, their longest play yesterday was 25 yards by Zordich at the end of the game. Their longest completion, pass completion, I think 19 yards. They're doing this without big plays. Yeah. And that's the next extension of this, because they're going to start hitting. They have the athletes to hit some big plays, and I think they're going to be that much better when they're able to do it. One other point about McGloin, listen, you could talk about 18 of this and that and whatever. The amazing thing to me is what he does on 4th down. I mean, he is as cool as – it's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, this wasn't the 4th down play, but there was a couple plays before this where he rolls out the entire stadium's wants him to run. I mean, and he just calmly passes it, and the quarterback sneaks. All these things are he's just doing so well.
Are you diminishing my stats?
I am.
Sort of a subtle
your stats mean nothing to me.
Is it that hard?
Hey, Mark's the birthday boy over here. He can do whatever.
I'm not Nitwit of the Week, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Happy belated
Which
to you.
Which would you rather be?
Both.
We are just getting started on this edition of the Nitwits. A couple big plays going against the Nittany Lions special teams. We talked about those just a bit ago. We'll dive a little bit more in depth to those coming up after the break.
Tackle.
The Nitwits are brought to you by Irwin Financial Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. Coldwell Banker, no one will work harder to sell your home. By Doctors Howells and Reed, orthodontics for children and adults. By the bookstore in the Park Hills Plaza, featuring the area's most complete selection of books, DVDs, magazines, and collectibles. By Fiore True Value on 6th Avenue, Altoona. Just ask rental.
The Nitwits, a weekly look at the Nittany Lions.
Welcome back to the Nitwits. Penn State, of course, big winners, come from behind winners on Saturday afternoon, 39-28. They're now 4-2 overall as they head into the bye week, and they started the season, those 2 straight tough losses, and they've since rattled off 4 straight. Let's talk a little bit about the special teams, though, because we had to give the team praise, obviously, with the win against Northwestern on Saturday, but there were some things that kind of went south, I guess, a bit. In special teams, they've had some struggles pretty much all year with that. We saw Jesse Della Valle fumble a punt on Saturday. We saw the 75-yard punt return from Venrick Mark. A couple huge plays, and the muff punt led to a score, which could have been huge in this game.
Took them a long time to recover from that muff punt. I think their special teams coverage has been really good most of the year. But, we're Nitwits, so we nitpick a little bit. The one thing I noticed and Keith could speak to this, on the punt return, they had Mangiero out there, and he was one of the guys, and I know he was one of the bigger. How many big guys do you have? Is that inappropriate?
Do you notice anymore? I mean, everybody has a new punt formation. I remember last year was Johnny Troutman was always in the backfield. They had the three big guys right in front of the punter, catching anybody late and blocking, and just a wall of humanity. But if the kick returner is going to beat that first rush of guys, he's going to go get 2 or 3 offensive linemen or defensive linemen.
Okay. And a punter.
And a punter, yeah.
They took bad angles. You look on the replay, to me, to be 4-2 with the special teams uncertainty, because it obviously goes beyond the coverage, they're operating really under the premise that they're not sure if they can make a field goal. And what was going to happen if McGloin didn't score and it was going to be 28-25, were they going to go back to Ficken at that point?
That to me is the greater issue. Listen, there are going to be breakdowns. Della Valle, I don't know that you could really get on him too much. He's relatively new. He'd done a good job to this point. And as you said, Neil, the punt coverage and the kick coverage had been very good to that point. Things are going to break down at some point. And listen, sometimes you really do have to give the other guy credit. That Mark was a terrific athlete. The bigger concern, obviously, is the kicking game. I mean, Butterworth is still up and down, and Ficken, he was good at minimal stuff on Saturday. but you need better kicking than that. And I would add that the special teams, boy, if not for those errors, that really, when you look at the score, took away from the great job the defense did, only giving up 247 yards. You see 28 points. Half of those came directly or indirectly from special teams issues.
Here was Jesse Della Valle afterwards talking about the muff punt.
What happened on the punt?
I just misjudged it. I guess it happens, but I'm going to get back to catching a lot more punts in practice, just focus more on it. I was relieving, but I know my teammates had my back, and, you know, it was a great win overall.
Jesse's done a great job, and what he did was he was fair catching it, and he looked up with the fair catch signal, then he looked down, you know, and really just concentrate on the ball, and you know, he's done an excellent job.
It was a windy day.
Yeah.
Della Valle didn't want to use that as an excuse. The one thing on the other punt, that was Butterworth's best punt.
I know.
Yeah. 54 yards.
He outkicked the coverage.
He outkicked the coverage.
Hey, one quick note on Della Valle. This is a guy's first time in the media room, I think, and I give him a lot of credit for coming out and talking to us. He didn't have to do that. And now, granted, it's easier after a win. He had talked on a conference call earlier in the week, but this guy, the media is just getting to know him. And for him to man up and come out and answer some tough questions, I give him an awful lot of credit for doing that.
It was, I mean, the way they bounced back, Goon, I guess, kind of made it a little bit easier to swallow, a little bit easier to take that muff punt right there. And the 75-yard return, you know, made an 11-point game there late.
Yeah. Well, the return, I mean, I sit up pretty high opposite the, I'm in one of the suites, and you could just see it happening on that kick return. And that kid had some speed.
He did.
I mean, wow. You know, with the kid coming back from, you know, from on that punt and stuff like that, it's, you know, it's how many times did that happen this year? I mean, we're 6 games in it right now, and you know, it's going to happen throughout the year. You know, not everybody's 100%. You'll see it in the NFL. You'll watch games, and you'll see guys dropping punts. I mean, it happens. And like Mark said, you got to give the kid credit. He manned up. He showed up in the press room and talked about it. Obviously, winning cures it all. I mean, everybody's happy after a win, but, you know, give the kid some respect.
Yeah, Evan Lewis has done a good job coming up and catching the ball. Also, he didn't catch one late that cost him some field.
Yeah, the one that got over his head. And you know, it reminded me of I was kidding around because it reminded me of the drive against Illinois in '94 when Mike Archer let the punt go over his head to get an extra 30 yards, and we have to go 96 yards now. I was like, dude, just catch the ball.
Allows you to chew up the clock, though. You see that? It's working out for you.
Exactly right.
It's good that you've moved on from it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we scored. Winning cures all, buddy.
Poor Archie can't show up at Letterman things without Goon getting on him about
it. Made that drive all the more legendary.
It really was, because there is stories looking back at that, and people in the student section, or they were like looking at us, and it was in the Chicago paper the next morning. People were saying they were laughing in the huddle because we were in the huddle going, "We got to go 96 now." Oh well, you know, we got to go 96.
Boy, it would have been easy to throw in the towel yesterday with Penn State down by 2 scores, but it's the last thing they did. They rose to the occasion. The defense able to get some big stops late, giving the offense a chance. We'll have more on that after the break.
The Nitwits are brought to you by Pacifico's Bakery, genuine Italian bread and rolls for your tailgating needs. By the Altoona Professional Hearing Aid Center, your hearing aid healthcare professional. By Monarch Cleaners, for all your cleaning needs. By your rehab choice, Health South Altoona. Ask for us by name. By J&P Auto, home of the $1,000 push, pull, or tow. By Courtesy Motors of Altoona, where courtesy means a great deal.
You're watching the Nitwits, a look at Penn State football.
Oh, that was a scramble all the way. He did a nice job on that. Now, he's going to come in on Monday and tell me that he's a 4.3 40. I'm going to tell him we're timing his 40 with a sundial. But he did a nice job. He's got a really good knack for that. He just, you know, he's the one that always tells me every week, need that quarterback draw, coach, need that quarterback draw, you know. He's a great kid, fun kid to coach, love coaching competitive people, and he is a very competitive guy.
Yeah, Mac told me afterwards, too. He said, "It's my discount double check's not the same as Aaron Rodgers. I do the leg kick with it. It's not the same." But any more comments on Matt McGloin?
Well, he caught considerable flack from his teammates over his attempted dive. Stephon Morris said it was a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. But at the end of the day, you could tell that these guys, they don't make comments like that unless they respect what this guy's doing. And clearly he is. You know, this is a guy who's always been fiery, maybe too much so in the past, but I think he's reined all of that in, and everybody's looking at him as a leader now. He's doing a great job.
On the other side of the football, we talked all week, I guess, well documented how good this Northwestern offense was. They put up 700-plus yards against Indiana a week prior. Kane Coulter obviously does some great things. Coulter, I think, 240. They held him to 247 yards. The total offense, the Wildcats on Saturday.
Coulter got 41.
41.
Might not know he was number 2.
Yeah.
In case you didn't see it. No, I mean, I thought that they had some success when they ran him on the edge. I give Penn State secondary and their defense a lot of credit. Northwestern averaged like 3 yards a passing attempt.
How about giving Gerald Hodges some credit, too?
Oh,
I mean, when you talk about Kane Coulter really being reined in, and it's not just all Hodges, but that guy, he's made for those types of games against these teams where they do a lot of this option and that sort of thing. He's just terrific. And we saw everything we've seen about Mike Motti, he deserves all the praise he gets. But the way Hodges played, wow, he stepped it up another level. Their linebackers are good. I got news for you. And I mean, not that that is a news flash. I think everybody realizes that.
Ted, go ahead.
The front seven takes a lot of pressure off the secondary, too. I mean, you put pressure on the quarterback, and you got linebackers covering slot guys and running backs and tight ends. I mean, there's not that much pressure on the D-backs. I mean, that was the fear going into the season was that the secondary was weak. But, it's becoming the strong suit of the defense because of the pressure they can put on the quarterback and the linebacker play.
Morris held up pretty nicely in one-on-one coverage.
And the defense had him sized up. I mean, Ted Roof and Malcolm Willis and Gerald Hodge, all those guys saying afterwards, we watched obviously a ton of tape, and this is about the offense we expected. From my standpoint, I mean, it was the Coulter touchdown late was really I thought I was going to see a lot more of that all day. Him running that option and running a lot more. And you just didn't see that. And that's a testament to the Penn State defense, no question.
Well, and how much better is this defense now than it was against Ohio? And I'll go back to what I mentioned earlier. I mean, that's the thing. You have a new coaching staff, new philosophies on both sides of the ball. And win, lose, or draw, I think it's important that we're seeing improvement every single week. And now they have a bye week. And in talking to Ted Roof after the game, it's like now they have a chance to take a step back and maybe tweak things, redo things. Stephon Morris said, they've barely played nickel at all this year. There are different things that they could add in. So I think it's going to be fun watching this defense and offense, for that matter, the rest of the year.
Yeah, I wrote about this going into the game. The one thing that's really impressed me is how quickly they've adjusted when things have gone wrong. I would expect the special teams will be much improved the next time around. He fixed the red zone offense after the Virginia game quickly. The third down defense has been good. The balance between run and pass since the first game has been really impressive.
It is the bye week, so no picks, but we'll lend some final thoughts and tie a bow on this Week 6 wrap-up edition of the NitWits. Stay with us.
The NitWits are brought to you by the Allegro, where fine cuisine is a way of life. By McMullen Furniture, the friendly store with quality furniture at a reasonable price. By Scotch Valley Country Club, the area's premier golf destination. By EasyToUse.com, your Yellow Pages connection in print and online. By FightOnState.com, as close as you get to Penn State football without putting on a helmet. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State game day every Friday.
I'm Matt McGloin, and you're watching the NitWits.
Welcome back. Thank you to Matt McGloin. Great day for him, of course, again on Saturday. It is the bye week, fellas, but we're still going to do some final thoughts here as we wrap up another edition of the NitWits. Is this bye week coming at a good time, you think? Four straight wins?
Perfect. Right in the middle of the season. One thing we didn't hit on, we hit a lot of aspects in honor of Keith. The offensive line, I think, has really done a good job. And Zwinak is emerging, is definitely a guy who can finish runs. I thought we ought to mention that before the show.
Keith, what were bye weeks like? How important was that back when you were playing to have that off week in the middle? Because it's a grind. I mean, just from a media perspective, it's a grind. I can imagine a player.
Recall, I mean, we usually had them early in the third or fourth week of the season. It was just like you finally get into a routine with your games, and then all of a sudden you have a bye week. Whereas this, it's like the perfect time. I mean, there's 6 games in. They have 6 games left. They have a week off right now. Recharge their batteries. Coaches, too. I mean, it's been a pretty hectic time here for the last few months. I mean, these guys have been at it since August 1. You know, and then if you think about it, I mean, these coaches, they were recruiting these kids the last couple weeks when those sanctions came down. So these guys have been at it hard, long hours. And like today, probably, you know, this week they'll have some time off. And it was always fun watching the other teams because, you know, you in high school you play against guys and you see them, you know. I had some friends who played at Notre Dame, so I enjoyed watching Notre Dame play to see my friends play, which you don't really get when you have your own game. So
a lot of the players go home. He said he's going to practice them at least through Wednesday.
I don't know what his schedule is. I really don't know how Bill's going to handle it. Joe was, you know, have practice Tuesday, take Sunday, Monday off, catch your breath. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, practice at Thursday night, go to class on Friday, and then we'll see you Monday morning. Hey, I don't know how Bill's going to handle it, though.
One thing with the bye, everybody should be knocking on wood if you're a Penn State fan, because they've been remarkably healthy this year. Now, they've lost guys for a game here, a couple games there, but at the midway point, they're in good shape. And that's important. With the players they lost, there's not as much depth. And, again, if you're a Penn State fan, you're hoping that these guys continue to stay healthy through the rest of the year, because I think that now they have a chance to do some interesting things in the Big Ten.
Did you want to announce the Nitwit of the Week?
That's your job. You're the host. I don't want to.
Neil can't announce himself as Nitwit. Neil Riddell is
Nitwit
of the Week. Okay?
Is there a drum roll? That's all I want.
Coronation.
It was almost Joe Nastasi.
It was. Well, it could have been any one of us there down the stretch there. I was
based on best statistics given last week, Neil is the Nitwit of the Week.
I want to also mention we are going to have a show during the bye week, so you'll have our faces on TV next Sunday as well. There's the updated standings.
Oh, my God.
Look at Neil's got 2 now.
Yeah, I hope you're not too uncomfortable, Mark.
I only have a half.
What is what's the thing at the bottom with the guess there?
1.5.
1.5.
1.5, yeah. I see.
Hey, Chris Owens is in charge.
Carlin was robbed, by the way. He should have had an extra one.
All right.
Exactly right. I won that one.
Our thanks to Chris Owens. Our thanks to Goon for stopping by again and the rest of the panel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
The Nitwits have been brought to you by Irwin Financial Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. Coldwell Banker, no one will work harder to sell your home. By Doctors Howells and Reed, orthodontics for children and adults. By the bookstore in the Park Hills Plaza, featuring the area's most complete selection of books, DVDs, magazines, and collectibles. By Fiore True Value on 6th Avenue, Altoona. Just ask rental. By Pacifico's Bakery, genuine Italian bread and rolls for your tailgating needs. By the Altoona Professional Hearing Aid Center, your hearing aid healthcare professional. By Monarch Cleaners, for all your cleaning needs. By your rehab choice, Health South Altoona. Ask for us by name. By J&P Auto, home of the $1,000 push, pull, or tow. By Courtesy Motors of Altoona, where courtesy means a great deal. By the Allegro, where fine cuisine is a way of life. By McMullen Furniture, the friendly store with quality furniture at a reasonable price. By Scotch Valley Country Club, the area's premier golf destination. By EasyToUse.com, your Yellow Pages connection in print and online. By FightOnState.com, as close as you get to Penn State football without putting on a helmet. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State game day every Friday. You can also see the Nitwits on AltoonaMirror.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.